What's going on, guys? ICS Minneapolis is going to be soon, so I figured I'd do a little set review where I go over the cards that I think have potential in Darkwing Blast. Now, the set is definitely not as groundbreaking as Power of the Elements with, all the new tier element cards and the Sprite, but like people have said, it's kind of like a DLC to that set. Now, first, I'll just go over the Tcg Exclusives that we're getting, so Japan does not have these cards. First one is Spellbound. I feel like so many people have talked about this card, but I'll just give my quick opinion on it. I don't think it's very good. That was just my initial thoughts when I read it. I was like, it's kind of cool. It's definitely a main deck card. I don't see it having that much side potential. It being cool to main deck because obviously you could quick play this versus like a tier deck, but going second, but you won't even, you're not taking that much away. They just can't use their cards on field as fusion materials. So it's kind of weird. I just don't see it being that reliable of a card. Besides like game one, because there's just more powerful floodgates going first. Like D-Barrier seems way better than this card. Excluding versus links, and then going second, it's like how often you'd rather have like a lightning storm, dark ruler, or droplets. Like how often are you gonna want this versus a deck? Like trying to think. Because it's like, say even last format, they go Hulk effect. It's not like you can chain this to like prevent Scythe or anything, so it doesn't do enough. Now for this trap card, Destructive Drama Karma Cannon, what a cool name. Changes many monsters on the field to face down defense position. If either player controls a face-up monster, they must send all face-up monsters they control to the graveyard. So I think that card's really cool. The token would go to the grave, right? I like this trap card a lot. I think it has like a lot of potential as a side card. It's basically snow, right? For a lot of cards, it's a better Book of Eclipse. But traps are really powerful right now. Floodgates are still unbanned, so I don't see this being relevant right away. Maybe when the format slows down and like Eldritch could play this card. But there's already so many good, Ice Dragon Prison. Like, there's a lot of really good traps already. Now, here is the full set of cards that I think have potential in this set. Starting off with the traps. So, I think this card's really cool. Simul Archfiends. Now, we just went over Spellbound. But what's different about this card is it's a floodgate for links. So, say, they go Ignister, special summon a link 1. Or, any salad, special summon link 1. You activate this, going first, and now they can't link summon. So now the player can special summon monsters of the same type as monsters they control. So you could also do it with rituals, but, when we compare it to anything besides links, it just looks worse than D-Barrier. Now we have another card that's cool for its Mischief of the Gnomes application, but it's also a Icarus attack for the Scareclaw engine. So you tribute Scareclaw, destroy 2 cards. You banish them if you have a Visa Starfrost, but the graveyard effect was what was cool to me. If a Link 3 or higher monster is on the field, you can banish it from the graveyard, and neither player can activate the effects of Link monsters on the field this turn. So that's a lot of floodgate potential. You can send this off Beatrice, you can mill it in the tier deck, versus like a deck where you're going to get access coded, maybe like versus Mathmech. I think this card is really cool, because I like any card that's, Mischief of the Gnomes. Sprite gets a new trap, so target one monster on the field, either graveyard, to activate one of these effects. These effects are pretty good. I definitely wouldn't say this card's better than Smashers, just because, mine, and just being able to go second with a quick play. But it has the 3 options of attaching it to your rank 2 monsters, so your Gigantic Sprite. If your opponent controls it, you can change of heart it to one zone that your link monster points to, and same thing for if it's in the graveyard, you can do it to a zone the link monster points to, special summon to your side of the field. So that's pretty powerful trap. I don't know how much people are testing this, but I definitely see this could be a one of in the Sprite deck. Now, Branded gets a new trap, Branded Beast. Once per turn during the main phase, if you control a Bisted monster, you contribute 1 dragon monster, then target 1 card your opponent controls, destroy it, so, a little pop effect. During the end phase, you can target 1 branded continuous spell trap in your graveyard, place it face up on your side of the field. So Branded does get a new continuous spell in this set. I didn't think it was very good. It's rebranded, If a light or dark monster is banished, you can target one of those monsters, place it to the bottom of the deck, and if you do, draw one card. That's okay, right? Maybe like some Dragon Link cool stuff you could do, putting the light or dark dragon back to the deck. You can only use the effect rebanded once per turn. Once per turn, if your opponent normal or special summons a monster, you can target one Bisted monster in your graveyard, special summon it. So like, kind of shrug at that because it doesn't really do much, but it's just, you know, besides Branded Lost, it's another option, especially for this trap. Black Shadow Squall. Now, I wouldn't have included this card because all it does is, you know, remove a black feather counter for the new Blackwing archetype, and then you can negate the activation of a spell or trap. But I think what's really cool is if you control the Blackwing dragon, you can just set it from your graveyard and banish it when it leaves the field. So, you know, any trap where we can just take it out of our graveyard and play it, it's just more value. So I think that has potential. Blackwing Twin Shadow, another card I didn't think was very good, but then I figured out you can activate it in the hand, like a lot of Blackwing traps we've seen. So return 2 of your Blackwing monsters that are banished and or in your graveyard to the deck. 1 tuner and a non-tuner, and special summon 1 Blackwing Synchro monster from your extra deck, whose levels are the same. Now, if you control 2 or more Blackwing monsters, you can just activate it from your hand. So that's huge combo potential, like being able to synchro with 2 monsters from your graveyard just for 1 card, I think is pretty insane. So I think Blackwings have like a lot of combo potential. One of them has the restriction of only being able to summon synchro monsters for that turn, so that's why it's not even here. You may know that card is a level 4. But there's also this guy who's really cool. He has just dark restriction, so think Phantom Knight, Rusty Blade, right? Which isn't as bad as we've seen in the past. But if you control a Blackwing monster other than him, you can special summon it from your hand, and you can tribute him to send Blackwings from your deck to the graveyard, whose levels equal exactly 8, including himself, and just get a free synchro. Which is insane. You know, Zephyros and another level 2 non-tuner would be a level 8, so then you'd get Zephyros. Something to think about. I'm just going out of order when I think, like, archetypes refer to each other. I thought this card's insane, True Bamboo Sword, so it's with the Bamboo Sword archetype, and all this does is it rotas for any Bamboo Sword card in your deck. Which is insane, you know, if Exodia had that back in the day, it would have been really good to just draw 2 cards, like with your, whatever that level 4 0 attack guy that draws for spells activated. So I think this card's pretty insane for the Bamboo archetype, which is basically just drawing 2 cards, Pot of Greed. This is the other Bamboo Sword, which adds a Bamboo Sword from your deck to your hand when it's into the grave, which is pretty crazy. This is the Kishitari La archetype spell. So this archetype doesn't really have that many cards, so I felt like I had to include this, but this card I think is necessary for the combo. Same with the trap, but on their own, like, I just don't think they're that good. Like, they facilitate what's necessary for the combo, but these cards I don't think are worth knowing unless you're playing the deck, because you pretty much can only play it in the archetype. Tearlament Scream, if you don't know what this card does, you definitely should if you're going to Minneapolis. I think this card's broken. It allows you to get to trap, even if your kit's negated. You could pop your Kaleido with the field spell, send this, get a trap, special Kaleido. So Kaleido now gets you a trap if you're able to destroy it. And then it also just mills 3, so it has a broken first effect too. Not broken, milling 3 is not that insane, but all you need to do is normal or special summon a monster and you get to mill 3, which, you know, I think that's really good. So I think Scream's going to be auto-include in tier going forward. Heartbeats, this is just another tier. It's an out to mine, so I felt like I had to include it, but it's really not that good. It's just an out to mine, and it shuffles the card and sends one to the graveyard, so you can trigger a tier effect. Chilliman's Grief, I thought this card's kind of cool because it just gets you to another monster. It's like a, what's the card called? Transmodify. So it's like a Transmodify for tiers, and it's a tier name, so it kind of just allows the deck to combo a little more if it were capable of doing so. So, I mean, it's just something to consider, but yeah, I don't see tier playing this card. Final Battle, I Golongda. I thought this card's kind of crazy. It's a Despia card. So anytime your monster would be destroyed by card or effect, you can actually just send a fusion monster that mentions Fallen Valbaz instead, which is like crazy, right? I mean, that's pretty good. That's Mirjade's like whole purpose. But at the same time, during the end phase, if you have Fallen Valbaz in your field or grave, you can special summon a Spring Ends monster. So I think this card has potential, but you can only use that effect once per turn, which makes sense. Alright, so the next card is Black Feather Whirlwind. So this is the new Black Whirlwind for the archetype that a lot of the cards search. So once per turn, it's not a hard once per turn, which is interesting, so you could use multiple. If you special summon a Dark Synchro monster from the extra deck, you can target one Blackwing monster or Blackwing Dragon with lower attack that is banished or in your graveyard and special summon it. And then also as a protect effect, once per turn, if a dark monster you control, so not even Blackwing, just a dark monster, would be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can remove one Black Feather counter instead. I think this card's cool. You know, it's getting you way more bodies. So this deck is really like Duel Links. If you play that, it's just like spam bodies. That's all it does. I'll just go over the Blackwings real quick now. So I thought this one was cool just because of its second effect. If this card is normal or special summon, you can... Or no, the graveyard effect. So you can banish this card from your graveyard, special summon one level 5 or higher Blackwing monster from your hand or deck, then take damage equal to its attack. So free special summon of a level 5 monster from deck. Pretty insane, right? You know, they're just making like mad cards that are just woofs, but better. So I think this card's really sweet. And then Chinook, this card's kind of cool. It's a hand trap in a way. You can send this card from your hand or field to graveyard, then target one monster your opponent controls. Send one Synchro monster from your extra deck that's Blackwing. So that's the only thing. You have to figure out if there's good Blackwing Synchros to send. And the monster's effects are negated. And it loses 700 attack. So I think that's just like a good combo with the two. It's a quick effect if you control Dark Synchro monster, but I doubt you would really use it as a quick effect. You'd probably just be going second card for the most part. This card just places Black Feather Whirlwind from your deck to the spell trap zone. Like I said, it's not hard once per turn, so you could use multiple copies. So I think this card's good for the archetype. Its second effect is... So if a Blackwing monster is special summoned, Synchro, to your field while this card is in your graveyard, you can banish it, target one Blackwing monster in your graveyard, add it to your hand. So, you know, free little recursion out of it too. And then I've already talked about this card. So I thought this card was really cool. It has semblance to Trap Eater from back in the day. If a face-up spell trap card is on the field, you can special summon this card from your hand. It's a dark winged beast, so when I think about Curious, that's why I pulled this card out. You contribute one winged beast monster, then target one face-up spell trap on the field, return that face-up card to the hand, but you can't use it for the rest of the turn. So you could also do this to your opponent if they activate a field spell, so like mine. Or wait... Alright, so you contribute one winged beast monster, then target one face-up. Oh, okay, well, we're learning as we read it. So, apparently it's just you. So if I tried to do this to mine, I would only not be able to use mine. So that's not as good as I thought. But still with bouncing your field spell or situationals, like, you know, if one of your field spells a Rhoda, that could be good into your element. Or you could get the mill effect of that tier spell, then bounce it to your hand and send it with some card effect like a danger. That could be relevant. You know, you get the mill 3 and then you're trying to get the graveyard effect. It's a quick effect if all monsters you control are winged beast. I still think this card's cool. It's not really like Trap Eater though. But yeah, I mean, it's a cool card. I think it's worth pulling out still, considering that I got the effect wrong. But like I said, we're learning. This is a little fish support for the shark. So if it's normal or special summon one fish normal monster from your hand, deck, or graveyard. Obviously, normal monster sucks. The second effect's not that good, but we won't go over it that much. This is a new Labyrinth card. I've been seeing a lot of people testing the Labyrinth deck. I don't think this pushes the envelope enough, but worth including. While you control a set card, your opponent cannot target this card with card effects. Also, cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. You can only use each effect once per turn. If a Labyrinth card effect, except herself, or a normal trap card was activated this turn, you can special summon this card from your hand in defense position. When a normal trap card is activated, you can set one normal trap with a different name directly from your deck. So any normal trap, pretty crazy effect. Not that hard of a condition to summon itself, but you're playing a trap deck, which is already not that good, right? But there's Sanctum. Sanctum's insane, so maybe this card has potential. Soul Scissors, a generic level 2 interruption. So, if this card is special summoned from the graveyard, you can target one monster your opponent controls, destroy it. That's the primary effect of why we're using this. And then, if a monster on the field is destroyed by battle or card effect and sent to the graveyard while this card is in your graveyard, you can special summon it. So, kind of something to think about with Sprite. The new Sprite link we have, Sprined. Worth mentioning. Okay, and then for hire, get a pretty good card. So, it's a Rhoda for all. So for hire gets a pretty good card. It's a Rhoda for a spell and trap for hire monster. Or for hire, get a pretty good card. It's a Rhoda for spell or trap for hire card from your deck to your hand. And during the main phase, it's a quick effect. If you control it for hire, you can banish it from your graveyard, then target one for hire in your graveyard, add it to your hand. So just like that Blackwing card. And you can special summon it if it was a monster. So better than Blackwing card, right? That's pretty cool. I thought this card was really insane. So you can discard it and one other monster card. Add one Earth Fairy monster from your deck to your hand, except himself. Then you can special summon one Earth monster from your graveyard. So you're getting to Rhoda and special summon like a Redox. That's kind of insane. Its restriction is pretty big, but, you know, Earth archetype has seen play before, so I feel like it could, you know, rise in value one day. Because the caveat is you cannot activate monster effects for the rest of the turn except Earth monsters. And then all monsters. Oh, it has some random reduction for no reason. Kind of cool, I guess. This chick has a lot of effects. She's pretty good. So when a monster effect is activated, you control 5 or more Earth monsters. Not very likely. You can negate the activated effect, and if you do destroy it, then it has 2 other effects. You can target one face-up monster your opponent controls, take control of it, and if you do, it becomes Earth. And during your opponent's turn, it's a quick effect. You can target one Earth monster in your graveyard, special summon it. So it kind of helps you get to the 5 Earth monsters by itself. I think that the Earth archetype's interesting. Now, people think these Draco Slayer cards are the nuts. We don't have Electromite, unfortunately. You can target one Draco Slayer or one Dynamis card in your Pendulum Zone, special summon it. You can only use the effect of Dynamis, the Draco Slayer, once per turn. If it's tributed, you can add one face-up Draco Slayer or Dynamis Pendulum Monster from your extra deck to your hand, and you can only use each effect once per turn. I'm not going to talk too much about these because, like, there's so many combo videos. I know Yassine has combo videos on this, but these cards are really good for the Pendulum archetype. So if you have a Draco Slayer or Magic Spectre card in your other Pendulum Zone, you can add one Draco Slayer Pendulum Monster with a different original name from your deck to your hand. Then you can destroy one card in your Pendulum Zone. You can only use each effect once per turn. Then its monster effect is it's always treated as a Magic Spectre. Quick effect, you can discard this card until the end of this turn. Your opponent cannot target Draco Slayer monsters you control with card effects. Also, they cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. Kind of like a Dynamist. If it is Pendulum summoned or special summoned by Draco Slayer card effect, you can add one field spell from your deck to your hand, then discard one card. So, one field spell. Any field spell, Mystic Mind galore, pretty insane. This card is crazy, I think. Then Ignis Phoenix, the Draco Slayer. During the main phase, you can shuffle one face-up Pendulum monster from your extra deck into the deck, then add one Draco Slayer or Ignite monster from your deck to your hand. So he's Rhoda for the broken one. You can only use each effect once per turn. Monster effect, if it is destroyed on the field by battle or card effect, you can special summon one Draco Slayer or Ignite monster from your deck. That's also insane. And if you do, it is treated as a tuner. Pretty good. I would say so. Tuners, we love when they're free. Wish Tier Elements had a lot more tuners. It would be a way better deck. If just like Sharon or Merle were a tuner, the deck would just go crazy. Sunateria Camella. I thought these two Sunateria cards were really good when I first read them, so I want to reread them to see if they're good now. This card has 3 effects. If this card is normal or special summon, you can send one Nichiria card from your deck to the grave. If you attribute a Nichiria monster to activate effect, or just any monster, but if you to activate a Nichiria effect, you can just send the top 2 instead. And if your opponent normal or special summons a monster, you can special summon one Nichiria monster from your graveyard. So when they're just giving these monsters 3 effects, they have to have potential, right? During the main phase, quick effect, I love this card because it's kind of insane going second. You contribute this card, special summon one Nichiria monster from your deck, or if your opponent controls a monster. So think about the Bisted cards. This could be counter to that strategy. Imagine, you bait the Bestial stuff with the Sharon, Merle, then they banish it, then you just normal summon this. Because it would be the highest attack on the field. You can special summon 2 Nichirias from your deck. So I just think that could be a crazy scenario with cards like Gamma, the new Bestials, the fact that I could just normal summon, make Nat Beast, right? Like, I don't know. Seems like it could be good. If your opponent special summons a monster from the extra deck, or you special summon a Nichiria monster from the extra deck while this card is in your graveyard, you can special summon this card. And it has recursion. And it's another quick effect on your opponent's turn. So, I don't know. I'm definitely going to pick up some of these because it just seems like such a cool card. Even the artwork's insane. Like, why is his hand so big? And, like, the rose petals. Okay, so unfortunately, DB has timed me out twice now, but we will prevail. So this is another cool card for the Ritual archetype. While it's on the field, the Ritual monsters can't be targeted or destroyed by card effects. Just thought that was worth including as a continuous effect. I thought this was a cool cube card. I don't think any of the ninja cards are necessarily good. I could do a combo video on it, but testing it myself, I don't like, with the flip face down mechanic, like Shadol has never really relied on that even. Like, it's just a hard bridge to build. But I just thought this was cool because if you add it with Sangan in the cube, it's just another card that specials itself if you add it, just like that Mermel card that's 2600 defense. And then some of the Kashatari Law cards. So Ogre adds the Trap, which I already said. I don't think the Trap's very good. There's Unicorn, so if you control no monsters, you can special summon this card. They all have that effect. You can only use each one once per turn, all have that effect. During your main phase, you can add one Kashatula. Bro, I don't know why. I gotta just get this down. Kashatari La, spell from your deck to your hand, which will special summon another guy, which is pretty cool. Check out one of the combo videos I know you've seen. Did a combo video on that, so you should check that out. When this card declares an attack, or if your opponent activates a monster effect, you look at your opponent's extra deck and banish one monster from it face down. So mini cherries. Card's really strong. Also notice it has the Unicorn archetype, which if you know Necros Unicorn, it also interrupts extra deck monsters. So I don't know if that was done on purpose, but I made the I recognized the line or whatever the lore is. If you control, now this is the best one. This one you should just pick up 3. It's just a generic card that's going to banish stuff your opponent controls face down. When this card declares an attack, your opponent activates a monster effect. Target one face-up card your opponent controls, banish it face down. Insane effect. That's why it has seen heavy play in the OCG just as a 3-of and as a generic answer to decks, because you can also use it as an extender. Now with the Bestials, it's like extenders that are also hand traps or, really good monster on field effects. Pretty insane. So I think this card is worth picking up. This card is insane. but it has the caveat of your opponent knowing what it does. Because in my mind, you go Brandon in High Spirits, pitch a tier, search this, special Kikalos, they impermit, you normal this, fuse your Kikalos so you still get the mill effect, make a Drago Sepelia, crazy. But I don't know if I'm imperming Kikalos if you're searching this. But I mean, that might be like good enough on its own to play this. This card's insane. It's a polymerization, and it doesn't have to use itself for a level 8 or higher fusion monster. And as the same end phase effect, just like Ecclesia, if you have Fallen Valbaz in the grave, you can special summon it. So this card has huge potential. It's a Starlight. I like it. This card's really cool. I know it's not being played, but it's still a Floodgate that's crazy. While you control this special summon card, negate all the effects. So basically D-Barrier plus links. And if it leaves the field, banish your opponent's whole extra deck until their end phase. So that's kind of insane. It's weird to play around. This card's just a Rhoda for the Bestials. Can also special summon itself. Yada yada. I don't really like the Dragon Link deck just because I hate Nibiru, but it might be a good meta call. The combos are pretty intricate. It's 3-card combos a lot of the time too, so it's hard to see the lines, and I've just been having panicky episodes in time in this last YCS, so I didn't play Red Resonator because I thought I could just not play time cards and still succeed, but boy was I wrong. Time is just such an issue for me, and I have not gotten over it. So I don't really like the Dragon Link deck, but this card is really good. Definitely look out for it. All the Bestials, I just made a video on the Bestial monsters and how underrated I feel like people are, and that I feel like playing 3 Magnemite, 1 Druid Worm might not be that good because, you know, Druid Worm, it's an interruption if it's sent to the grave, so they're going to want to leave it on field. This is a Dark Soul, not a Skarm, because Skarm activates in the end phase, where this activates right away. So that's why I say Dark Soul, but it's more value. You're getting the guaranteed search, which is cool, but when I think of the interruption potential, if they have the Kikalos, like, do they want their Kikalos to die? So are they going to pop this with the field spell to Planet? Or are they really allowed to make Kaleido to just get rid of this monster? I don't know. But yeah, these guys are all insane. They're now Bestials. If you don't know what they do, you gotta play test with them because they are insane versus tiers. And I definitely think they're the most hyped up cards in the set, besides like the True Draco Slayers and the Fernir. I thought this card was cool. News Reporter from the Underworld. It's just a protection for Fiends. So and it has that restriction. It can't be used as a link material. I hate that. If a monster you control would be destroyed by battle or card effect, you contribute 1 Fiend monster instead. So any Fiend, or any monster you control, you can just tribute a Fiend. And then also, and it also has the effect, you can target 1 Fiend monster in your graveyard, except yourself. You cannot special summon for the rest of the turn except Fiends, and discard 1 card, and if you do, special summon that targeted monster. So I think that's insane when I think about the BA archetype from back in the day. However, she is not a Burning Abyss. If she was a Burning Abyss, I would have loved her. But just being a tour guide archetype, I don't know. But she's definitely worth considering. This card's insane. Definitely will see play eventually, especially if you can use the Banish for your own combos, where it like benefits you, banishing, doing like a dimensional barrier type deal. He only requires 1 plus effect monster, so you can just use an access code for this. During your main phase, you can banish as many monsters on the field as possible, then special summon as many monsters banished by this effect as possible to their owner's fields in face-up attack position, face-up defense position, or face-down defense position, so you pick. During the battle phase, quick effect, you can destroy cards on the field up to the number of co-linked monsters on the field. That's a lot of effects. This guy's insane. He's going to take some practice, I feel like, to properly execute to its max potential. But yeah, this card is worth picking up, I believe. And I don't feel like people have seen a use case for it yet, but it's only a matter of time for this card to be insane, only requiring 1 monster. Now, it's an extra deck spot, but I don't think that matters. Sprite's Brined. He's insane. He's a foolish for a level 2. You can't use both effects in the same turn, but also if another monster is special summoned while this card is on the field, you can detach one material from your monster, then target one monster on the field and return it to the hand. So that's a pretty cool effect. It sucks you can't use both in the same turn, and it sucks he can't be used as a link material. Blackwing, Boris, the Evil Wind. I thought this card was really good. When I compare it to a card like Coral Dragon, I feel like it's better because of Zephyros and the level 3 Blackwing that was just legalized. So you can send one Blackwing monster from your deck to the graveyard, and if you do, this card's level becomes that monster. When this card destroys a monster by battle and sends it to the graveyard, you can banish one Blackwing monster from your graveyard, special summon it. So like a Yugioh Guardian. Card's insane. I think this card has a lot of potential. Just have to make the combo for it. Reincarnating Shamizine Kaliko. So this card's pretty cool. It has the quick effect for like all the hotkeys like TG, Wonder Magician, Formula, Synchron effect. But it also has, if it's in your graveyard, you can target one other Synchro monster in your graveyard, return it to the extra deck, and special summon itself. So that's just, insane potential as an extender for tuners. Wonder if it had impact on the Halki Firebrax ban, but I think this card's really good, and we'll see play one day. This card's also insane as rank 6. I love Beatrice more, but it has 2 effects. So if you detach one material, it will just shuffle a card it targets into the deck. But its second effect is if it is a monster, special summon it to your field in face up, face down, or face up attack position or defense position. Or you can set the card from the graveyard to your side of the field. So just being able to set any spell or trap in your opponent's grave just seems pretty crazy to me. It seems like it has potential eventually, but I doubt this sees play right when the format opens up. The Kishatari La XYZ. So he just banishes stuff face down. I thought it was cool to note that like you can hit the field spell zone right away. So that just prevents mine. So I think this card has potential. It's just 2 level 7 monsters. It's generic. During the standby phase, you can special summon one of these guys from your deck. Each time an opponent's card is banished face down, you choose one monster zone. So like Ojama King, or a spell trap zone. So like their field spell zone. And they can't use it for the rest of the time he's face up on the field. If he would be destroyed, you can attach a material instead, so it protects itself too. Now, Runic gets a new card that is pretty good, but it doesn't really do anything revolutionary. If it's destroyed by battle or card effect, you can add a quick play from your grave to your hand. That's pretty much all it does. So we'll leave it at that. Tier element Lucaros. So I guess I'll talk about this as my last note. This card plays around Nib. You send a monster from your hand to the grave. You can negate Nib. Problem with that, so you're doing the Nib play to protect your Dweller. Now, if you have this and Dweller on the board, you can lose to Super Poly when they use their turn player priority draw phase. So I think this card's really cool for the archetype, but I don't think it's like that groundbreaking when we haven't eliminated problems in the format like Super Poly. With Super Poly being banned, this card gets way better, but just something to consider. Definitely will be played. Definitely might see play in High Spirits because of this card and this card. It's a new High Spirits target that's way better than the Dust Frog. So that's something to consider. I hope you enjoyed my thorough overview of each and every card that I think has potential in this set. I appreciate your support so much. I will be doing new videos whenever I can. Have a good one. Bye.